Hello, my name is Miro Pigari. I'm a senior lecturer in international strategic management. My work explores how multinational enterprises make internalization, foreign direct investment, location decisions under conditions of institutional volatility, institutional uncertainty, especially in developing and emerging markets. So what we explore is mostly how formal and informal institutions like corruption, political institutions, policy, geopolitics, and their evolution affects the strategies that multinationals develop in these volatile markets. We also explore how external forces like the evolution of technology, AI, the urgency for sustainability affect and reshape the way companies operate in local and foreign markets, reshaping the way that they compete, they adapt, and they create value in these contexts. That's mostly about me. What about you, Andrei?
So I'm Andrei Zharikov. I'm associate professor in alternative dispute resolution, and I would say that my primary interest is to see how disputes are being resolved outside of the court system, outside of litigation. So essentially those methods like arbitration, mediation, a couple of other more niche ones. So I'm looking at how effective they are, how can we improve their effectiveness, and how can these alternative dispute resolution methods help the court system as well. And lately, I've been involved in a few projects connected to Ukraine, and I found myself positioning in an interesting spot where I'm overlooking a number of interdisciplinary collaborations and trying to enhance our partnership with Ukrainian partners in different types of projects.
My name is Sifas Tete. I'm a lecturer in entrepreneurship. I'm currently working on entrepreneur work engagement because when we look at the uncertainties around entrepreneurship in terms of the regulation, the taxation, the skills gap, the question I'm looking at is how can entrepreneurs still be engaged in their work? What will make them to be fulfilled in whatever they are doing? So we are looking at strategic mindsets where they have to ask themselves eliciting questions to find out how to navigate themselves around the situations, and also we are looking at perceived attractiveness. So that's one of the areas that I'm looking at. And the other part is looking at human trafficking survivors or victims. It's a very alarming issue, and the data seems to be increasing, but most scholars have, for some reason, they've no focus on those areas. So I'm trying to look at the well-being of those kind of people. What are the strategies that we can put in place to increase their well-being? So realize that most researchers, in terms of work engagement, they look at the employees. So they look at how employees tend to have vigor in terms of their absorption, in terms of their dedication to work. But they forgot that when you look at employees and entrepreneurs, they have very different work environments. So sometimes their findings cannot be applied to these people. So that is a very new area that we are looking at. So the question is that how can we help those kind of people to survive in this volatile environment? So we are looking at the fact that, okay, for them to generate impact, they have to have some level of training in terms of asking themselves certain questions like, what can I do to make this better? So we are just looking at how people look at things from different perception. Sometimes there are opportunities, but the question is that do you have what it takes to actually execute the task to actually, benefit from the opportunity? So we are looking at something like perceived feasibility, if you have the ability to look at it. And also we have to look at something like gain estimation. Sometimes you have to look at the benefits and look at, okay, does this benefit outweighs the risk?
My work has both academic and practical impact. In terms of academic impact, my contribution is that I use configurational theorizing to show how this external influences, either it is the evolution of AI, or it is sustainability, or it is formal and informal institutions, how they entwine with the traditional motivation and strategies of multinationals around the world. And from a perspective of practical impact, our research informs managers on how they can navigate a changing environment that is marked by war, by huge geopolitical turbulence, all these factors that actually increase operating risk around the world. So we try to provide guidelines on how they can adapt in order to mitigate these risks, in order to become more sustainable, both financially and environmentally and socially sustainable, and how they can become more adaptable in order both to exploit the emerging opportunities from the technology, but also to tackle the challenges that are coming from these turbulent circumstances and eras that we are currently experiencing. In terms of impact for policy making, the findings that we have show what kind of policymakers can adopt in their home countries in order to make their home environments sustainable and attractive to foreign direct investment. What kind of industrial strategies they can develop, what kind of national policies they can develop in order to reduce corruption, how they can make institutions stronger and overall bring in more resources for the development of the home country. One of the most important impact that our research has is that it informs our teaching, and it helps us create the mindset of the future managers that we teach here in Portsmouth. It helps us reshape their mindset. It helps us equip them with the tools that they need in order to be able to act, decide, develop strategies for the future. They are the ones that can change the world because they are the ones that they are the future. What about you, Andrei?
I just really like the last sentence you said. That's really inspiring. So in my area, I would say the most impact in my discipline would be the policy change and the examination of the policy. So, for example, in my area of alternative dispute resolution, there are quite big developments recently. Just last year, there is a new act on arbitration, and it will be interesting to see how arbitrators react to it, whether UK will remain the global center of arbitration. There's always a lot to think about, and I'd say that's where I find the impact of my research. That's exactly the policy-wise. In case the new policy has been adopted, is it the most effective way? How it's been implemented? Maybe it's not about the policy, but actually the actors who implement it.
It's really nice to disseminate some of your findings in social media and raise awareness of the wider public and see them being reposted and disseminating among peers and the wider audience. It's really rewarding, I would say.
From my side, I would say I actually have an interesting perspective of how impact can be viewed, at least in my discipline, as you mentioned, like citations, whether you can push the boundaries of existing knowledge and then other people, look at your idea and find it, criticize it or find it useful and trying to build on top of it. The number of citations, maybe the number of times you've been invited to be a keynote speaker at an event and so on. Maybe whether your idea is fundable. And generally for the university, I think it's really important to have very good standard of research, very impactful research, because it's not only about our reputation, but increasingly students ask us about, so what are you doing? What are you actually doing here apart from teaching? And it's great to show that, actually, we have much more to offer. So I do think that university should be proud of the work we're doing here. Definitely,
and research also gives some difficult answers. So answers that people might not like to hear, but it's only research can bring this knowledge that can change the world.
I've also realized the pride and the joy that students get from their dissertation because they know how difficult it is to get those kind of grades. So it's something that they are really proud of. Yeah.
Yes, and also it's a way to link with the society as well, because we are in social sciences, our research is about people, it's about companies, which is aggregations of people as well. So it's not just a matter of finding the right answer, which is very important, but also to link these answers to the society and to give back to the society as a social actor that we are.